Hey y'all, so today I'm going to be doing all of the Pottermore quizzes. Today I'm going to be sorting myself into my Hogwarts house, my Ilvermorny house, I'm going to be figuring out what my Patronus is, and I am going to be figuring out what my wand is. Full disclosure, I have taken all of these quizzes before, whether in their current form or in a past form. I've done all of these in some form or fashion. However, I am one of those people whose opinions tend to shift very quickly, and I have a feeling that I'm not going to answer anywhere near the same as I have on many of these quizzes in the past. I really honestly have no idea what my wand is going to be like or what my Patronus is going to be like because, let's be honest, how many different types of those are there? Like, tons. But I do already have a pretty good idea of what Hogwarts house I belong in and what Ilvermorny house I belong in, which I will address when we get there. But I think that the best way to go about this would be to do it in the same order that a student would do it, so let's start with the wand quiz. So the first question is, to ensure we find the perfect wand for you, it's very important that you answer the following questions honestly. First of all, would you describe yourself as average height, short, or tall? I am 5'5", which is slightly above the average for a woman, which I think is 5'4", but I'm basically an average height. So I'm going to select average height. Okay, so the next question is eye color. I'm not gonna go through every single question, but my eyes are basically just a pretty simple brown. Was the day on which you were born an even number or an odd number? I was born on an even numbered day. Okay, so now we're starting to get into some of the questions that are more personality based, which are the ones that are really interesting to me. So the next question is, do you pride yourself most on your kindness, optimism, determination, resilience, imagination, intelligence, originality? Ooh, this one's difficult. I vaguely remember this question coming up before, and those last three are the ones that are really, really hard for me, because those are the three that I definitely consider to be the things that I find most important are intelligence and originality and imagination. So I've sat here for quite a while trying to decide, and I think I'm going to go with intelligence. That's the thing that I feel that I most pride myself on. I tend to be a little bit of a know-it-all, which is probably my worst trait. So I'm gonna go with intelligence. It seems a little pretentious of me to say that, but I do pride myself most of the time on my intelligence. Traveling along down a deserted road, you reach a crossroads. Do you continue left toward the sea, ahead toward the forest, or right toward the castle? I think I'm gonna go ahead and go with the castle because I'm an inside person, and I think that any secrets that could be hidden within the castle would be more interesting than whatever secrets would be in a potential forest. And I don't know why I'm so dead set on there being secrets in these places, but I think it would be more interesting to explore a castle than to explore a forest. Okay, next question. Do you most fear fire, darkness, isolation, small spaces, heights, and that's it. I thought there was one more. I don't really know. None of those are like, all those are kind of scary in their own way, but none of those are like major fears that I have. Like, I'm not afraid of heights. Fire doesn't really freak me out in any way. I don't know. I actually really like the darkness, so obviously not the darkness. I think I'm actually gonna go with small spaces on this one because I really don't like the feeling of being trapped in a situation, whether that is literal, like physically being trapped in a small space, or like in the more abstract sense of being trapped somewhere or like being stuck in a situation. So I think I'm gonna go with small spaces. Okay, so now we have a chest of magical artifacts and I have to choose one of the items inside. Our options are an ornate mirror, a dusty bottle, a golden key, a silver dagger, a bound scroll, a glittering jewel, and a black glove. Okay. So the two that stood out to me the most are the key and the scroll. My initial inclination was the key because I think that keys are cool, but I think I'm gonna go with the bound scroll because I love writing and paper and there could be something really interesting on this bound scroll. Okay, so I have received my wand. It is chestnut wood with a phoenix feather core, 10 3/4 inches, and unyielding flexibility, so not flexible at all, which is not surprising. Not sure exactly what that says about me. I'm somewhat familiar with wand lore, but I can't think of what chestnut wood specifically means, or what the phoenix feather core means. I know that both of them have specific meanings, but I can't think of them at this moment. Fortunately, I have a computer in front of me and I can look it up. Duh, Kristen. Also, I just realized that you can totally see the vast number of tabs that I have open. Please ignore that. I always have a ton of tabs open. I have an internet problem, okay? So apparently chestnut wood is curious and multifaceted. Apparently chestnut wood is attracted to those who love magical beasts and herbology. I think it's kind of like purposely vague, but it's interesting nonetheless. The one that I actually have out on my bookshelf that I consider to be kind of like my wand that has a specific wand wood type is the reed wand, because I feel like that fits my personality a little bit better. So now we're going to move on to the first sorting quiz. Okay, so now that I have my wand, it is time to go to school, and since I am American, I'm gonna go ahead and sort myself into my Ilvermorny house first, because if I were to go to some sort of wizarding school, it would be Ilvermorny, unless I purposely moved to England just so that I could go to Hogwarts, which is honestly probably what I'd prefer to do. So like I said, I've taken this quiz in the past, but the questions were extremely vague and I felt like I could go multiple different ways on them. So I'm gonna go ahead and retake it and see what I get. I personally think that I am a horned serpent. It's the closest to Ravenclaw that the American houses have. It's kind of like considered the mind of the Witcher Wizard, which is very important to me as a Ravenclaw. Although I think the time that I took it, I got Wampus, which is really random for me because it's like kind of the Gryffindor equivalent, which is very not me. Anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and see what I get. I don't know. So the first question is, do you prefer to remember or experience? And this one's difficult for me because I feel like experiences are really, really awesome, but I feel like I often tend to look back on things with fonder memory than when I actually experienced it, if it makes any sense to you. And I'm definitely someone who likes to go back and to remember things that have happened and to look through old photo albums and stuff like that. So I think I'm actually gonna go with remember. The next question is, where would you least like to find yourself? Imprisoned alone in a silent dungeon, locked in a crowded cage, standing room only, in the dock in court, accused of a crime you did not commit, on the deck of a ship as the tidal wave comes over the horizon, trapped in the attic as the house burns below you, on the rope bridge fraying over the canyon, or lost in the forest at night, eyes staring at you through the dark. And this is actually kind of difficult because I feel like you could look at this in multiple different ways. On the one hand, there are some situations that would be more scary for me, but there are also some that are life-threatening and some that are not. For example, I think that it would be absolutely terrifying to be accused of a crime that you didn't commit, but it would probably be more terrifying to be in a life-threatening situation. And while being lost in a forest at night is terrifying, I mean, these eyes aren't necessarily threatening me in any way. So the two that are actually life-threatening to me are on the rope bridge fraying over the canyon and trapped in the attic as a house burns below you. I think I'm gonna have to go with the rope bridge fraying over a canyon because that sounds very terrifying and very life-threatening, and more life-threatening than being trapped in an attic, because some attics have windows. I could maybe jump out a window and break my leg maybe, but fall maybe 20 feet. Whereas if I was over a canyon and I were to fall, that would be certain death. Okay, the next one is, I wish I knew how to forget, win, escape, or get through. See, this is what I meant by vague. Like, I feel like all of these are very helpful in different situations, but I don't know what situation to think of when I'm dealing with this. Forget is the first one I'm gonna rule out because I feel like there's nothing in my life that I just desperately need to erase from my mind. Winning could be looked at in multiple different ways. For example, being successful. I would love to know the secret to being very successful, but I don't know if that's necessarily what it's talking about. Again, you could think of a physical escape from something, or you could think of like a mental escape from your everyday life, which is very important. And then of course there's get through, which for me seems like the most logical for everyday life, because getting through everyday life, you need to know how to get through. And I feel like that is the one that's calling out to me, so I'm just gonna go with it even though I feel like there are cases to be made for the other ones. That's the one that seems the most reasonable to me, so that's the one I'm going with. My beliefs are hard won, who I am, constantly evolving, and few but strong. And again, with these very difficult questions, because I feel like there's a difference between my like everyday opinions and my like actual belief system. But once again, I'm going to go with the one that immediately jumped out to me, and that for me is constantly evolving, because I feel like when it comes to important things in your life, you need to always be open to understanding different points of view and understanding when you're maybe wrong on a topic. And so constantly evolving is probably the one that fits that the most, because I feel like it's important to always see other points of view. And like I said, to understand when maybe you're wrong about something. So this one has about 20 billion different possible answers. So I'm not going to read all of them off. But the question is, think of the question you would most like answered by a person or an all-knowing being or device. Which of the following most closely resembles the answer you'd like to hear? And now I have to think of a question. This was a little bit difficult, but I think I'm gonna go with if you want to. That one is the one that is most appealing to me. Not gonna go into what the question was, but just trust me on this. Okay, so the next question is, I would most like to discover a powerful magical creature loyal only to me, an all-magical city hidden from the no-mage world, a spell more powerful than any other, or a magical plant that will cure any illness. This one is actually much easier than the last few. Definitely an all-magical city hidden from the no-mage world. That sounds really interesting. It sounds like something that would be really cool to explore, and that is definitely what I'm going with. Whose judgment do you most fear? Nobody's, my own, my friends, my family's, the world's, or history's? For this, I think I'm actually gonna go with my family. Not because I'm scared of their judgment per se, but I feel like when I think of trying to be successful and I think about who I most want to impress and stuff like that, I think about my family. I want my family to be proud of me. So I think I'm gonna go kind of down that route with this question. Which is the better motto? It is nobler to be deceived than to be mistrustful, or friends should not demand blind faith. This is weird because I feel like these statements have nothing to do with each other, and maybe that's the point, but I'm gonna go with friends should not demand blind faith, because I'm a fairly mistrustful person. I don't give my trust away very easily, and so I feel like it's not nobler to be deceived than to be mistrustful. So I'm gonna go with the friends should not demand blind faith, because I feel like that's fairly accurate. Horned serpent! Ah! I'm so excited! I knew I was a horned serpent, but I guess the last time I took it, I answered things that were more wampus, but look, I got horned serpent. I'm so excited. I knew I was a horned serpent. I don't know how I answered differently than last time, but I don't care. I went with my gut, and that got me to horned serpent. I knew I was horned serpent. So it is now time for the one that I consider to be the most important, the Hogwarts Sorting Hat. So obviously, as you can see, I'm in my Ravenclaw attire, but I'm actually a hat stall. I have long since accepted this. I have accepted Ravenclaw as my house, but in all technicality, I am a Slitherclaw. I am a Slytherin and Ravenclaw hat stall. And I've often been told, oh, you have to choose a house, and I obviously have, but I have gotten actual hat stalls on the website multiple times, which is difficult. And yes, I've taken the original Sorting Hat quiz when it had more questions. I took that so many times when the website first launched. And full disclosure, I got Slytherin most of the time. I got hat stalls more often than people who are not actual hat stalls would get them, but I did get Slytherin the majority of the time. So it'll be interesting to see what I end up getting now that the quiz has been modified a little bit, because I've taken it once or twice since then, and I have also been kind of all over the place. So I'll be completely unsurprised if I get Slytherin, but I at heart am a Ravenclaw. So let's see what I get. Time for the sorting ceremony to begin. The first question is forest or river? And this one is fairly easy for me. I'm gonna go with the forest. Like I said in the one with the wand question, I think a forest is fairly interesting. Rivers are cool, rivers are interesting, but forests are intriguing, and I feel like that you can explore a forest and it would be more interesting than exploring a river. Also, forests just seem more mysterious and magical in the first place anyway. So a troll has gone berserk in the headmaster's study at Hogwarts. It is about to smash, crush, and tear several irreplaceable items and treasures. In which order would you rescue these objects from the Trolls Club if you could? So 3 items are a nearly perfected cure for dragonpox, student records going back 1,000 years, and a mysterious handwritten book full of strange runes. So the one that I immediately think should be the last to save is the cure, because someone's been working on it. If they have been working on it, they know what's in it, and it's not perfected yet. So I think that that would be the easiest one to recreate, and I think the other 2 are more valuable items for like magical knowledge going forward. So I think the order I'm going to save them are the runes, then the student records, and then the cure, because I feel like the runes are something that are, like I said, irreplaceable, and I feel like they're more important to magic moving forward, because the student records, yes, are very, very important to the school, but they also don't have a lot of usable information going forward. Like, it's not like you need to dig up the student records for someone who lived like 500 years ago very often, but I think that the runes would be more important to day-to-day life. Okay, late at night, walking alone in the street, you hear a peculiar cry that you believe to have a magical source. Do you proceed with caution, keeping one hand on your concealed wand and an eye out for any disturbance? Draw your wand and try to discover the source of the noise. Draw your wand and stand your ground. Withdraw into the shadows to wait developments while mentally reviewing the most appropriate defensive and offensive spells should trouble occur. This one, definitely. Because I feel like if you just stand your ground, what if there's not anything coming toward you and you're just standing there stupidly? Drawing the wand and trying to discover the source of the noise does not sound like a good idea to me. I don't want to hunt down whatever this thing is. I want to avoid it. And proceeding with caution isn't a bad idea, but I feel like this one is more useful because it's letting you think about what you're about to do and not making moves until you feel prepared. So that's the one I'm going with. Realistically, I think that I would just try to get out of there as soon as possible and run and hide. If you could have any power, which would you choose? The power to read minds, the power of invisibility, superhuman strength, power to speak to animals, change the past, or change your appearance at will. I feel like this one depends, but the way I'm choosing to look at it is if I were a witch going to Hogwarts, and not like if I'm me going about my day-to-day life as a muggle. Because obviously, sorting, I'm gonna be at Hogwarts. I feel like invisibility is a really interesting one, but I also am very drawn to the power to change your appearance at will. And unless you were to try to sneak into a situation where you could not be seen no matter who you were, I feel like this would be just as good as invisibility. So I think I'm gonna go with changing appearance at will. That's the one I'm gonna choose. How would you like to be known to history? The wise, the good, the great, or the bold? Okay, so this is one of the ones where it's like, haha, this is an obvious gimme question. We know which house each one is attached to. So obviously, and not just because it's attached to Ravenclaw, but I would prefer to be known as the wise. Obviously, if I were to go down in history as Kristen the Wise, I'd be pretty happy with that. I remember this question. This is, if you were to go to Hogwarts, which animal would you choose? And there are 20 billion options. So I'm just gonna scroll through until I get, oh, there it is, the black cat. I think black cats are cool. I'm not generally a cat person, but I would choose the black cat probably. An owl would potentially be more useful, I think, but I'm afraid of birds, and so I'm not sure I would want pet owl. I think that also I could just use owls from the owlery, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. I believe that the owls in the owlery are both student owls and school owls, so I could just use one of those. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the cat because it'd be nice to have like a little cuddle buddy in my dorm. So this one's interesting. I don't remember this one. Once every century, the flutterby or flutterbee bush produces flowers that adapt their scent to attract the unwary. If it lured you, it would smell of a crackling fire log, the sea, fresh parchment, or home. I'm a little torn here because I feel very torn between home and fresh parchment. Because I feel like obviously fresh parchment is basically the scent of books, and the scent of books is very comfy and homey to me, but home is also homey to me. I think I'm gonna go with fresh parchment because I feel like home can be very variable depending on like what sense I have going on at home, and fresh parchment is just gonna be the same thing every time, and it's very comforting when you love to read books a lot. Heads or tails? I hate these, by the way. These are very random and I don't know how they relate to anything, but I tend to call tails when I do heads or tails, so I'm gonna go with tails. Ravenclaw! I'm actually genuinely shocked. I was so sure I would get Slytherin. I was so sure. Because I rarely get Ravenclaw just like outright. And I got Ravenclaw! I'm so excited! I'm a Ravenclaw. Pottermore has confirmed it. I'm a Ravenclaw. I'm actually very surprised by how well this is going because I fully expected that I would get Wampus again and that something would go weird with the Sorting Hat quiz and I would get like Gryffindor or something because like I said, I have taken the original Sorting Hat quiz an embarrassing number of times and I got Gryffindor once or twice and it was weird because I'm definitely not a Gryffindor, but I was so worried that I would get like random houses that were not me at all, but Ravenclaw. So now moving on to the one that I think is the most interesting, which is the Patronus Quiz. Now I did take it when it first launched a few months ago, but kind of like with the Wampus Quiz, there were a lot that were very vague and I feel like I could go multiple different ways with it. So I am going to go ahead and take it, but I remember that the options didn't stay up there for very long. I remember it was kind of a timed quiz. So I'm gonna try to say everything as I'm going along, but I may not be able to, and I may have to rush it a little bit. So if that happens, I might mute the audio and talk over it in post, but we'll just see what ends up happening. Time to discover my Patronus. It says, questions are timed, go with your instincts. Let's begin. Relax, think of your happiest memory. I don't even know what that is. Don't make me think about that. Shine, glitter, or glow. Shine, I guess. I don't know. Not glitter. I don't like glitter. Make or improve? Make, definitely. Yeah, making. I'm just rambling. Lead, save, or escape? Escape. Escape. I hate when my mouse misclicks. Forever or sometimes? Sometimes. I am all over the place when it comes to stuff. Hope, trust, or love? Love. Trust was the one I wasn't trying to choose between. And hope can sometimes be, you know, overrated. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm rambling. I think it's about to show me my Patronus. What do I have? I got a dog! That's so cute! I got a dog! What does this mean? I have no idea. Oh, and it's a mutt too. Okay, so I remembered some of those questions popping up on my first Patronus test, but I know that some of them were different. And now that I took it, I remember that I've taken it twice. Again, I'm crazy. But I didn't get that either time. The first time it was some sort of bird. The second time it was a horse. It was a mare, which I love horses, so I was cool with that. But oh, I got a dog. I don't know what that means. I feel like that, like, dogs are kind of symbols of, like, extroverted and happy and fun, and that's not really me. So I don't know. Like, it's cute, though. I'm very excited for, like, to have a dog as my Patronus, because, like, I love dogs. But I feel like I'm more, like, I am a dog person, but I feel like my personality is more of a cat, so I don't know. But this is cute. I love dogs. I'm happy to have a cute little mutt as my Patronus. So that is it for the Pottermore quizzes. I am surprised that it went as well as it did. I figured that I would get at least one thing that I didn't necessarily like. I guess the wand was kind of a bit of a disappointment because I feel like the traits attached to it are kind of random, but I got Ravenclaw, I got Horned Serpent, and I got a cute little dog Patronus. I mean, I'm happy. I'm content with these results. So that is it for this Pottermore quiz video. Let me know down in the comments if you have taken these quizzes on Pottermore and what your results were, maybe if they matched up with what you thought you would get, and if they didn't, let me know down in the comments. I would love to know and to talk about it because I love all things Harry Potter. Y'all know this. I talk about Harry Potter all the time. Also, hopefully soon when I start on break, I will get back into my Harry Potter blog where I have been analyzing the series chapter by chapter. It's been on a hiatus for the past month while I've been doing NaNoWriMo, but I'm going to be reaching my winter break very soon and I'll have more time to play around with, so hopefully I'll be able to get back into that blog because I love Harry Potter. I love being analytical, Ravenclaw. So yeah, definitely hoping to jump back into that very soon. So check it out either down in the description or up in the cards. As always, I will leave links down in the description to my blog, Twitter, and Goodreads. Please add me as a friend on Goodreads. I would love to be friends with all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!